Hello, everybody. It's the interview queen, Alicia Atout here, and I am so excited to welcome you all to my interview with Matt Redwoldt. Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. Like a lot of people, I'm sure, little stir crazy at this point, maybe a bit, but all in all, not too bad.
Do you find you're kind of keeping yourself sane? Like you're almost getting used to it now that we're a few weeks in?
Yeah, I'm hoping when things get back to normal, it's not, everyone's complaining about going out, but I have a bad feeling there's going to be that first day you have of work or something where you're like, oh, I just want to go back home.
Right.
You're like, God, why? You got so used to it. That was your life. You're going to want to be back home. But hopefully, if and when it all happens and everything, it's just going to be this mass celebration and everything. It'll be nice.
I'm sure it will be. I keep telling people, enjoy it while it lasts, because, like a month ago, all these people were whining about not having time off. And, it's one of those things. It's like a slight silver lining in all this craziness going on. So, we'll take it as it comes and get through it eventually.
Very true. Quiet time can do us all some good sometimes.
When it comes to you and your family, I mean, it seems like everybody is on the road with the different promotions that you work for between yourself and Shaul. And so I was curious, is it kind of nice having that rare time together now, because you guys are always on the road, you're always traveling, and now you actually just get to relax and kind of have that normal time off like normal couples,
I mean, yeah, maybe almost too much time.
I think a lot of couples are feeling that.
Yeah, anybody that kept in a cage long enough and ends up rumbling a little bit. But no, it is really nice after so much time, like you said, on the road. And then there'd be times, because she, here in Chicago, not only when she's doing travel work and everything, she dances burlesque, she teaches, she does all this stuff. She's got all kinds of hours. And so, yeah, just trying to meet somewhere and everything like that can be tough. But so to have the nice, consistent time has given us a lot of alone time, a lot of intimacy and everything like that we might have lacked before. And so, yeah, it's been nice. You take, like you said before, the silver linings, you take them where they are. And so that's been really enjoyable.
That's super lovely. And I know that one thing I'm sure you've been doing a lot of lately is whiskey. It seems like you are a complete wrestler turned whiskey enthusiast. So, I mean, has that been happening a lot over there? A lot of whiskey drinking?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's funny. I listen to a lot of other whiskey podcasts, and there's message board. There's a whole. Let me tell you, there's a whole
world.
Yeah, so the way you and I always have been, and our fans have been with wrestling. Talking about it online, and like I said, Facebook groups, message boards, role playing Twitters, and everything like that. Honest to goodness, whiskey is not far off.
I would have never known.
Me neither. And that was part of the thing that intrigued me to it. There's these people trading bottles and flipping them and getting them appraised and talking about them, and you suck because you like that one. And it's really insane, but it's fun and intense and everything like that. But yeah, so that's definitely been happening a lot. It's like a lot of people talk about it goes from 5 o'clock somewhere, and then on quarantine time, it's 3, and hey, it's 30, and
it's noon somewhere.
Hey, so, but yeah, it's definitely been fun with that.
That's awesome. And you also have Wrestling with Whiskey, where you pretty much take fans on your travels where you drink a lot of whiskey. So did it kind of seem like a light bulb just went off and you thought, oh, this could be another job of mine, and it's two of my passions, traveling and whiskey just colliding?
Yeah, I mean, it was never intended to be that, as a lot of things often start. It was, I had started getting into it, and like I said, I was listening to things, I was reading things, and as it more and more took off, I was like, well, let's just document some of this. Like most people with an Instagram page, just show the world what we're up to, see if people were kind of interested. And then I started doing video, tasting things. And then all of a sudden, the first, some distillery reaches out to you. It's like, hey, we're going to send you a sample of something. Would you do a video for it? And you're like, whoa. You want me to do that?
You're like, yes, please.
That's cool. And then then Twitter started, and then the website jumped in, and then YouTube, and so it became this whole side hustle and everything like that, and it's really grown, and it's been really embraced by a lot of people in that community, which has been really, really great.
That's amazing. My favorite thing is when you can just do something that's actually a passion of yours, and then on the back end, you end up making something from it or getting free
Yeah.
product. I mean, it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, passion begets passion. Like people are, I always magnetize that, and that can be read from almost anywhere. And so, like, I found that same in wrestling, same in entertainment, same in whiskey.
Yeah, and something that I do have to bring up that happened fairly recently was everything with WWE last week. Of course, so many wrestlers and incredible talents backstage, behind the scenes, were unfortunately released and let go. And you said something that really stuck with me, and I have the quote here. You mentioned, "These are the times that shows you who you are as a person." So I was just wondering if you could expand on that a little bit, and if there's anything you were kind of reflecting on when you shared that really emotional video with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, they always say it's the times when you're down that really show you who you are. It'll either expose all your weaknesses and the things that are going to hold you back, or at the same time, it's going to expose and force you to face what's going to lift you up. Those skills, those habits, those, whatever you've kind of built within yourself. It really comes out when you're facing things the hardest. And so for a lot of people, that's what I was trying to say, around the world, not just in our company and in this country, but the entire world are going through. It's one of those weird times when how awful it is for so many people, and it cannot understate that enough. But you talk about silver linings a little bit. Like, this is one of the only times I can remember in my short life that, humankind kind of across the world is united in one kind of thing. We all are facing this. We all want to beat it. We all want to get back to normal and find some kind of normalcy again. So this is a time, and I've seen it in my city here, and I'm sure a lot of people have, just the people who get up and are helping people around their communities, local workers, first responders, doctors, nurses, all that stuff, even local restaurants, hospitality, everyone seems to be really gathering around each other.
No, it's a wonderful thing. And you even see it within the wrestling community, just how everyone's just pouring their love. Because it was a heartbreaking thing to watch, honestly, seeing your peers and colleagues and people you've been watching on television for however long, whatever way it might be, have that thrown their way. So it's a good way to look at it. And just, I guess we're just wishing the best to everybody, really.
Absolutely. I mean, this is, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard for the whole wrestling community. Anybody, all of entertainment and everything. Everything's kind of at a standstill. So it's a hard time to be out there for someone who's made your life of that. But, got to do what's safe and everything. And hopefully sooner than later, when is responsible, everybody can get back to it. And I have a hope and a feeling that when they do, it's just going to be a rush of hopefully people, out to movies and theaters and shows and all this stuff. And so we can all be together again.
I just can't wait to feel that liveliness again. You just miss it, just the little things from going to the movies, sitting down at a restaurant. It's going to be absolutely wonderful.
I've always been, and my wife will attest this, I'm kind of like a 75-year-old man in a 32-year-old's body. I'm very much a curmudgeon most of the time. I'm one of those people, I don't like people, I want to stay inside. Usually I like being by myself and stuff like that, aside from performing. But I've never missed people more in my life. Like, I want to talk to a stranger at a coffee shop. It's I've never found that before, and it's kind of incredible.
It opens your eyes and puts things into perspective. I mean, and you mentioned the curmudgeon thing there. I was really surprised that I didn't open the camera for this interview and you weren't wearing like a robe or a onesie.
I know. I'm surprised too. Don't. I actually, you forced me to get out of bed a little bit today.
Well, I'm sorry, and you're welcome. No. Now, when it does come to your time in WWE, I remember watching the great wrestling with the Vaudevillains, the fantastic singing when welcoming Rusev to the ring, and of course the commentary on 205 Live. So it seems like you really did just have so many different hats on, and you had so many different skill sets. Is there a skill set, though, that you feel like you have not been able to portray yet, or anything that fans might not know you have that you would really still love to get out there?
That's tough, because that's true, and that's one of the things I'm the most proud of is like, I pride myself on being like, you give me anything, it's the class, you give me, and I will go out there and I will execute it. Like, I'll make a bunny costume look good. And we've had bunny costumes on that show before. But like anything, like, but so my thing was always, I love to talk. I love to be a performer. I guess the one thing that like people didn't get to see enough of is like, and I feel it's weird, and I never wanted to highlight this because I never wanted to be arrogant or make it all about me. That was never my go-to. But this sounds so cheesy, but man, I'm really athletic, and like I can do a lot. It sounds so cheesy, but I can do a lot more in that ring than I think I got a chance to do. I was a gymnast for like 4 or 5 years in my life, and like I love jumping off things and bouncing off things, and it just never worked its way into my persona and character, and that's totally fine. But it was never, there was a lot of stuff that I would practice at the PC and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this will be cool. And it just never happened. Yeah, and then it never kind of worked out. You got flourishes of it during a couple babyface runs there with the Vaudevillains and Rusev Day and stuff. But yeah, that was probably the one thing I wish I could have gotten out there a little bit more.
It's so funny being in this wrestling world, how you were showing the acting, the singing, your skills on the mic for commentary. And then it comes down to athleticism, which we know you have. Yeah. And you mentioned there were glimpses, but it was the thing that was almost showcased the least. It's just funny how that worked.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like you go in thinking one thing and sometimes the exact opposite happens.
Well, being the maestro of mayhem, I did want to talk about singing just for a little bit now. I was curious if you could kind of duet or sing with any band or artist or Broadway star or anyone, who's somebody you would really just love to do that with?
Oh God, that's so, and that changes all the time, especially because if I was going to stand on stage and like sing with someone, I'm a huge guy of like for like Broadway and musicals and stuff like that, because I don't have a voice for like rock and roll or any or like more traditional music. I've tried. I don't. But I love like just the booming kind of bold voices of Broadway and of musicals and stuff. So, but if you would have asked me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it would have been, God, I remember it's the guy who played Javert from the original Les Mis Broadway cast 20 years ago. I thought he was phenomenal. I can't remember his name, but I thought he was awesome. Guys, but then you have shows like Wicked come out and like Hamilton, like Lin-Manuel Miranda. I can't rap. Well, I can a little bit, but but to go up like with someone like that, like I'm just a modern day, just real Renaissance man and everything like that, that would be awesome.
I could see that being a really awesome showcase. I mean, you mentioned the rapping there. Is it rapping along to stuff, or do you think you could like, freestyle decently?
I wish. I'm not even going to promise that I could. I did it a little bit with the Rusev Day entrances, which is actually kind of funny because I was doing it because I had listened to Hamilton over and over again. So I'm like, instead of just singing stuff, I'm going to kind of hit little. I had to write it beforehand. I couldn't freestyle it. I hate to burst that bubble. But and then it was funny because they were backstage, and then I came back like just after I was doing it for like a month, and somebody comes up to me and was like, when did you start doing this rapping thing? I was like, I've been doing that on television for like the last like 6 weeks. They're like, oh, well, go back to the singing, please. I go, okay, fine. But it's just funny that nobody noticed for like 4 or 5 weeks that I was even doing it. So I got away with it.
That's hilarious. Hey, now you can just add that to another thing you've done, right? Rapping in front of millions. And one thing I do want to end on, you mentioned how you're currently living in Chicago. Chicago is one of my favorite places to visit, not only because of the people, but the food there is just top notch. So last thing I have to ask, deep dish or thin crust?
Ooh, I mean, it depends on where. And
True.
It depends on, what mood you're in now. Because I do love a really, really, really thin crust crispy pizza. I would say that's my normal go-to, but Chicago deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's. If you're familiar, so good. Everybody talks about like Chino's or Giordano's, and they're great, but not for me. Lou Malnati's takes the cake.
Yeah, those are the spots I go to where you either like go into it wearing stretchy pants or you wear a belt, you can notch down 1 or 2.
Always be prepared.
So good. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for hopping on here. I'm so happy we were able to do this.
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's my absolute pleasure. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'm the interview queen, Alicia Atout. Be sure to check out aliciaatout.com for all exclusive interviews and features. Huge thank you to Matt, and we will be seeing you next time. Bye.
See ya.